History has been made at the Nigerian Bar Association, but what should have been a defining moment for Nigeria's legal profession has instead become one of the most fiercely contested elections. Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Oyikansola Badejo Okusonya, has emerged as NBA's 33rd president and only the second woman in the association's 66-year history to hold the office. Yet, almost immediately after the electronic polls closed, celebrations gave way to allegations of technical failures, cyber attacks, voter disenfranchisement, and demands for the election to be set aside. Well, the president has congratulated the winner. However, there are still dissenting voices in the Nigerian Bar Association. And Barrister Clement Chukwuemeka, former vice chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association, joins us tonight and breaks down the issues right after we give you our Abuja wrap. This is Dateline Abuja. Hello and welcome to Dateline Abuja. I'm Kayla Megwa. Here are some of the major stories this week from Nigeria's presidency.
President Bola Tinubu has restated his commitment to democracy and the implementation of economic reforms, which have stabilized the economy. Speaking while receiving a delegation of leaders from the northeast zone of the country, led by the governor of Borno State, Professor Babagana Zulum, the president also thanked the governors for their efforts in stabilizing the country, even as he asked them to do more.
I hold democracy, consistency, dedication, and steady facts to stabilize the country, the polity, the economy. And one of the greatest aspects of it is the economy. The economy is already stabilized. So many of the governors here present, I want to say thank you very much. I want to charge you to do more.
President Bola Tinubu has approved the expansion of the Nigerian Army structure from 8 to 12 divisions, a move intended to enhance the country's security architecture and improve the operational effectiveness of the Nigerian Army. According to the statement from the presidency, this approval underscores the president's unwavering commitment to equipping the armed forces to address Nigeria's evolving security challenges effectively and to strengthen national defense capabilities further. President Tinubu commended the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Waidi Ibrahim Shuaibu, and all officers and soldiers of the Nigerian Army for their dedication, professionalism, and steadfast commitment to defending Nigeria's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Vice President Kashim Shettima has embarked on a high-level working visit to the Republic of Benin, alongside some state governors and senior officials of the federal government. Vice President Shettima departed Abuja for Benin on Thursday. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Communications, Mr. Stanley Nkwocha, says the visit is aimed at strengthening the implementation of Nigeria's Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zones program and drawing practical lessons from Benin's approach to agricultural value addition, industrial infrastructure, investment mobilization, skills development, and export-oriented production. Vice President Kashim Shettima has charged the local government chairman to drive the implementation of the Nutrition 774 initiative at the grassroots to improve nutritional outcomes in communities across Nigeria. Accordingly, he directed the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, ALGON, to actively participate in and strengthen the local government committees on food and nutrition, ensuring they become centers of planning, coordination, implementation, and accountability in every council.
It is a reminder that the local government is not simply the third tier of government. It is the space of government encountered by millions of Nigerians. And that is why anchoring the Nutrition 774 initiative on our 774 local government areas is one of the most thoughtful decisions we have taken in confronting the challenge of malnutrition.
Welcome back. Amid internal wranglings and initial technical glitches, the Nigerian Bar Association has announced the successful completion of its 2026 National Officers Election. The chairman of the Electoral Committee of the NBA, Mr. Ejalam, announced Mrs. Oyikansola Badejo Okunsoya, SAN, as the winner of the presidential seat. Announcing results of the election on Sunday, Ejalam declared that Mrs. Badejo Okunsoya, SAN, polled a total of 12,317 votes, representing 47.18%, to defeat her closest challenger, Lateef Akangbe, SAN, who garnered 7,934 votes, representing 30.39% of the total votes cast. This is the final hour for the Nigerian Bar Association to announce the successful completion of its 2026 National Officers Election.
Now, the contestants are many.
The election was held through electronic voting for 24 hours from the early hours of Saturday to 7:34 a.m. on Sunday.
And we have successfully concluded
the real-time status of the 2026 NBA national elections shows a total of 82,172 registered voters, while 26,184 voted, representing a turnout total of 31.86%.
As at the time polling commenced, as shown in the dashboard, we have 82,172 registered voters was displayed in the comments. Now, at the end of the exercise, 26,184 votes were cast, representing 31.86% voter turnout. One thing particular about this exercise is that each vote represents actual valid votes cast by one person.
Some candidates emerged with new positions as the announcement of Mrs. Oyikansola Badejo Okunsoya, SAN, as the winner of the presidential seat is made.
Especially if some people appear to be doing my job. The General Secretary will have Afam Okeke. He polls 8,478 votes, representing 33.58%. Bat Okoye Aniche, Esquire, 772 votes. Chidi Ezenwafo, 4,560 votes. Dr. Rapolo Ernest Ndoka, 6,188 votes. Nna Ebuka Onyebuchinweze, 1,147 votes. Okay, okay is okay, 4,100 votes. With 8,478 votes, Afam Okeke has been elected as General Secretary. For the very, very exalted position of the President of Nigerian Bar Association, we have 3 candidates. The total votes cast for all of them put together is 26,106. 26106, and the other, they appeared even as candidates. That's what I'm going to announce too. Are Olumiyiwa Akimburu SN polled 5,855 votes, representing 22.43%. Number 2 is Lateef Omoyemi Akangbe SN, who polled 7,934 votes, representing 30.39%. The last, who is number 3, Oyinkansola Badejo Akinsoya, SAN, I have not announced the results. Like I said, Oyinkansola Badejo Akinsoya, SAN, Mrs. B, polled 12,317 votes, representing 47.18%. With that result, she stands elected as the president of Nigeria.
In his remarks, the current outgoing president of the association laments some individuals who attempted to hack through the system.
The maligned individuals, they undermined the process with their utterances, and yet we stood firm. The members of the ECMBA stood firm. Every effort to derail this process failed. But I will say to the men and women who today have been elected to take over from us, and by the way, we can't wait to hand over to them, that as we celebrate, know that this is a trying time for the bar. Many persons may yet go to grave extents to rubbish the association and the electoral process. It is a time for healing, and it is a time to reach out to those who lost, to those who are hurting, and not only those who contested, but those who supported them. At the end of the day, let the bar be the winner. Moderate your celebration. Do not gloat. The job ahead is much. We must keep the bar united. And I have no doubt that the Electoral Committee of the NBA will do an in-depth analysis of the process and make recommendations on what we could do for a better electoral process and what step the bar can take to engender greater confidence in the process. The cyber attack of Saturday night shows that we must do more, not only for data protection, but to ensure that our election is not in any way undermined. I have only the pre-conference neck to preside over. If I don't get the report, my successor would. But let us objectively look at things and figure out ways to insulate our electoral process from such activities.
In a statement following her victory, Badejo Okunsoya, who is the second female president of the bar, describes her election as a collective triumph for lawyers, as she promises to lead with integrity, fairness, and accountability. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has also congratulated Mrs. Oyinkansola Badejo Okunsoya, SAN, on her historic election as the first elected and second female president of the Nigerian Bar Association, describing her emergence as a watershed in the legal profession and a triumph for merit, excellence, and gender inclusion. In a statement signed by the Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, President Tinubu noted that Mrs. Badejo Okunsoya's remarkable career, distinguished by integrity, professionalism, and commitment to justice, has earned her the confidence of her colleagues across the country. He affirms that Mrs. Badejo Okunsoya's emergence reflects the growing recognition of women's invaluable contributions to nation building and the administration of justice, expressing confidence that her leadership will further strengthen the legal profession by upholding the rule of law and promoting reforms that enhance access to justice for all Nigerians. President Tinubu urges the new NBA president to collaborate with all stakeholders to advance judicial reforms, protect the sanctity of the Constitution, and sustain the legal profession's role as a vital pillar of a democratic society. One of the defeated candidates, Lateef Akombe SAN, has rejected the outcome of this election, describing the process as fundamentally flawed and raising concerns over the integrity of the exercise. While election officials have maintained that the process remained credible despite disruptions, the controversy has reignited uncomfortable questions. If Nigeria's foremost body of legal practitioners, custodians of the rule of law, cannot conduct an election free from accusations of irregularities, what message does that send ahead of the country's broader electoral contest? Tonight on Dateline Abuja, Barrister Clement Chukwuemeka, former Vice Chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association, joins us to examine the victory, the controversy, and whether NBA's leadership transition will ultimately be remembered for breaking a glass ceiling or exposing cracks in confidence over electronic voting itself. Barrister Clement Chukwuemeka, welcome again to Dateline Abuja.
Thank you for having me always.
You know, we just had you recently talking about the tinted permits. We didn't know that we would have to have you here again so quickly because of this NBA election.
This is my jurisdiction.
Yes. So you have a new president for the Nigerian Bar Association.
Yes.
The president has congratulated her.
Which of the president?
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Okay.
He has congratulated her.
Yeah.
But a lot of you are still very upset. I don't want to use the word disgruntled. A lot of you are still very upset about the process. So let me hear from you directly. Were you able to vote?
No.
The OTP didn't come as well?
OTP didn't come for 2 days.
What's going on? What happened?
Definitely, first of all, we have to kind of appraise the system, talk about the system. Not only, this is not a system that just started just yesterday. It's a system that have been there for almost since 2018 till date. No, we have not witnessed a full, transparent Nigerian Bar Association election since the emergence of universal suffrage, which is the e-voting. The first time since I was called to bar over 20 years ago, coming 21 almost, I have been voting in NBA election, except just this particular one. I do not even want to join issues about the emergence or all the victors. The most important thing is that the system, those people campaigned very, very well. The 3 candidates in the presidential election, they all campaigned very, very well. They put up one of their best attributes and character in campaigning. That is not what we are saying. We are saying the system. If I was the one that was even elected as the president of NBA, I will borrow a leaf from the late Umaru Yar'Adua that immediately assumption of office, he definitely said that the system, the foundation that brought me in as a president was faulty, that it behoves on me to take responsibility and make sure that things are put in place. And that is exactly what I am urging the president. We have a president. She has been fully elected. She's not only ordinary person, she's a very committed and very wonderful lady. If you come across or in contact with her, you will know that she's eminently qualified to be there. No doubt about that. But the system that must bring someone in must be a system that is well articulated in a little bit of free, fair, and credible. But that free and fair credibility definitely is missing. She may not know the power that played. If I may shock you, NBA is owned by one person. Nigerian Bar Association election is owned by one person.
Who?
I will not be able to mention, but they know. While I'm mentioning it here, they know.
A lawyer.
A lawyer is owned by one person. And this person dictates who becomes NBA president since 2018 to date. They know. But the senior lawyers are to be blamed. Because these Nigerian lawyers, is founded on seniority. There is that particular attribute that seniority takes preeminence. It takes priority. One of the best things that will have happened to us is that they have just elected someone who is independent minded. That might not be all that, kind of taken awash with their shenanigans and their styles. This is a woman who is built integrity despite all that. But what we are saying is that I think she must depart from that cabal and make sure that going forward, MBA reorganizes its electoral architecture, brings up people who are qualified to man the ECMBA. What is happening with Professor Chidon Kalu in handling MBA election? What is happening from Dr. Armando Bani as SAN from handling the MBA? What is happening with all that senior, even including me? They have never known election have been manned by a very sound person whom people will look at and say this person will not take instruction from the president.
These complaints, not just from you, from the other contestants, saying, in fact, one of them said, they should redo the elections because he doesn't believe that this was free, fair, or credible in any way. These complaints, do you think it casts some kind of question on the legitimacy of the presidency that this woman is going to have to deal with for the next 2 years?
One of the things I look at all lawyers is just that mindset of, please let us just forget about it and continue.
Yeah,
it has been it's always move on, always moving on. And I was listening in one of the sister stations yesterday morning from one of the candidates. And after that particular interview, I sent him a message. I said, no, you cannot say you will not go to court.
Because that's the next thing.
Yes, you cannot.
If you're also angry, why aren't you going to court? You cannot
go to court. That you don't even advise some of your clients to go to court. Then you must. If everybody will continue to say, let's move on, let's move, who will fix it? Who will fix it? The only way we can fix it, if they don't do it, is maybe by 2030, when some grey quality lawyers will be vying for elective position. That is when, if they don't do it good, they will have themselves to blame. That is exactly what we are saying, because in fact, the MBA, the corruption in MBA need to be watched. The corruption that is endemic, is systematically endemic.
What type of corruption are we talking about here?
What are we talking about corruption? Have you seen the budget that was allocated to the ECMBA in 2022 and 2024? If you look at it, I may summarize it in such a way that the same thing that is applicable to the normal mainstream politicians in the Nigerian election and all that, wherein every year INEC will give a budget itemizing that they will buy computers, they will buy this and all these consumables. A lot of, most of this, not only consumables, things that that cannot get spoiled even in 10 years. In NBA, the same figure that was quoted in 2024 was the same figure that was quoted in 2026, in as much as there are inflations. But why would a computer that was bought in 2024 and all that things, equipment in the offices, be repeated in the same constitution?
A repetition.
You understand what I say? So if you look at it from that angle, nobody's talking about that. That is the foundational issue. That is the integrity issue. That is the corruption that we are talking about. What happened to the computers? During the NEC meetings and all that, nobody announced that the office was vandalized. Nobody announced that there was a fire outbreak. Nobody announced that these things were all spoiled. But how come in the coming other elections, such quotations will find themselves in the budget? All the vote cast, about 25 point something kind of, if I may be wrong, within 25,000 all voters that go to what they call General Council of the Bar, the same General Council of the Bar. When you look at 20 something of all total vote, then you go to General Eastern, especially Eastern General Council of the Eastern region, you see that what is contained in that place is 60,000 votes. So how did they manufacture the main dashboard, only 20-something voted, but in Eastern Bar, you will see 60,000. How did they come about that? Advice for the incoming leadership, which is anchored by Ms. B, the board. It is now for her to leave the board slogan. Be bold. Speak truth to power. Call spade a spade and not a farming instrument. Let it go out and get credible members of the bar in all committees. Make sure that government live up to expectation by holding them accountable. Okay. Then make sure that those who will be manning strategic committees, especially electoral committee, go out and look for Mikey Guinea. That is my advice for her. Look for Mikey Guinea, who is incorruptible. Look for him and make him our current incoming or new ECMBA chairman. If you cannot, look for Bani. If you cannot see Bani, look for Chidodin Kanu. There are a lot of them. Look for Sam Amadi. What are we talking about? Equally look for Clement Chukwemeka, Democrat. I will be there to handle it very, very squarely. Okay. Nobody can compromise me. Even if you like, bring anything on earth, you will not.
We'll be looking forward to see how all of that works out. But I have to thank you very much for being with us on Dateline Abuja. I know there's never enough time. Never enough time. I do have to thank you so much for being with us on the program. And good luck. And our greetings to everyone at the NBA.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks to my guest and to everyone who spoke to us today on the program. Please let us know the happenings in your neighborhood using the social media handle showing right now on your screens. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Kayla Megwa. See you next time.